All right, we're back here at Pinto Lake, and it wouldn't be Pinto Lake if there wasn't some complications. So I just got here and they said they forgot to charge the batteries overnight. So we're gonna go fish from the dock. They have my number and they said they'd give me a call once the boat batteries were charged. So we'll fish from the bank, maybe go out on a boat today, but yeah, it's Pinto Lake. Let's get into it. Any bites today?
I got one probably about an hour ago now, but
Yeah.
about it.
Yep, good old Pinto. See, the water's still chocolate milk.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Let's see. What is the bite like today? Look at that. The water is pretty low. You can actually get down there now, it looks like. Oh no, let's start off with the rattle trap. I feel like some bomb casts might be the way to go today. I think I'm gonna get down on this pavement. According to Fishbrain, there was like a 8-pounder caught here the other day, which is crazy. All right, low and slow, and then we try different colors. Or actually, we'll try the weightless fluke a bit too. Try it over there, see if it has any effect near the grass line. We'll bring our spinnerbait and our weightless fluke down there and see if anything changes about how these fish are acting. From what we gathered last time, there is a sort of rock pile out there by 4.
Any luck?
No, not yet.
Have you fished this lake much?
A handful of times. Last time though I was out here was like April or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Water is definitely still not clear at all.
Yeah, pretty stained, huh?
Yeah, but I saw online someone caught an 8-pounder a couple days ago, so
Oh, really?
yeah, from right here. So I'm like, yeah, might as well go check it out on day off, you know?
Yeah, I got a buddy that's coming out with a boat. We're gonna go out. I used to fish this lake all the time when I was a kid, but it's been a long time since I've been out here.
Yeah, I was gonna rent a boat, but they forgot to charge the batteries last night, so they're charging them right now. So we're gonna see if the battery is charged in time before I get bored, or if I just start catching a bunch here, then why go out on a boat?
Yeah.
But no, I think there's a good chance there's probably a lot back by the creek channels back over there.
Sure.
I assume they're on the fall pattern. I've been seeing a ton of bait fish jump around here too.
Really?
I threw a rattle trap, a spinnerbait, a chatterbait. Nothing yet, but I've only been here for about, I'd say 45 minutes.
Okay.
But
Well, good luck.
yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, my buddy's on his way over with his little boat. We normally go fishing at Kelly because we're members of the Rod and Gun Club,
Right.
and we slay them when we go out there.
My buddy, the first time he ever went bass fishing was someone who took him out there, and he thought bass fishing was going to be like that everywhere he went.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time he ever went bass fishing, he got like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we go out there, we catch. Bill likes to fly fish, so he's using a little clouser,
Yeah.
and you know it's a small bait, and he's got sinking line, so it goes down pretty good. And he's been catching some slabs of crappie,
Nice.
pound 6, pound 8, you know.
Wow.
And we'll go out there for like from noon till 6:37, and we'll catch between the two of us 25-30 fish, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing with any real, you know. You got something here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Stay down.
Nice. Maybe you brought some luck to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's not a bad one.
Nope. Ugh. Nice looking.
Yeah.
Color's good.
Healthy.
Yeah. Even though the water's so damn stained, but.
Yeah, you're my good luck charm, man.
Well, hey, one's good. You broke the ice.
Hell yeah.
Right on.
Appreciate you.
Okay, have fun, huh?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely healthier than the last fish that I caught here when I came out. There we go. Tiny mouth, fat body. Who needs a boat, man? .46. 2.46. Let's go get him back. We're gonna jump down with him and so he can get some air, make sure healthy release, because the water here is super shallow. There he goes. Thanks for playing, little friend. So a lot of you have been asking, Gary, can you talk about your technique, talk about the gear you're using, talk about the retrieve, all that. So I'll do that right now. So for this Texas rig, what we're using is, I'll show you right here. So we've got a 3/8 ounce tungsten with a line stopper above it, so there's a little bit of room so it makes some noise and it stays relatively pegged. And you want a peg when you're going through wood, a lot of rock, that way it stays more smooth, because if you leave too much, if you let the thing slide too much, this line is going to go in between the wood and the rock, and the weight's going to be up here and the hook is going to be down there. So then when you pull, it's going to get stuck like that, you see? So when it's like, when it has a peg, it slides through that wood and that rock a lot better. I'm using a 3/0 EWG, so EWG stands for extra wide gap, super line. So the, what's it called? The thickness of the hook is thicker, so it doesn't bend if it's a really big fish. And the lure I'm using is what I've talked about before. It's the Guggen Squad Kraken Craw Green Pumpkin Purple. And one thing you want to remember to do whenever you have a Guggen Squad soft plastic is separate the appendages, because they come attached, so you want to separate them so they have more action in the water. Now for the retrieve, what I do is I try and target where I know there's structure. So it looks like I'm casting out into open water right now, but one thing we know is over by Bobber 4 there is a rock pile down there. So I'm casting at that rock pile and I'm letting it hit bottom, then popping it twice. So like pop, pop. And that way the craw goes doot, doot underwater. And so it's sort of more of a natural craw-like presentation, because when craws swim underwater, they have a tendency to not just smoothly jump, they go up and then they shoot, up and shoot. So when you do that double pop, it looks a lot more like an actual craw. And so I do that, and then sometimes I'll retrieve the whole way back. Sometimes when I get off the structure, I will reel in real fast and toss at it again, or toss at the next piece of structure. So like right now, just say I passed that structure even though I didn't. Reel in, get it back, and target the next like high percentage spot. So this plastic has been used a lot, so it's starting to slide on the hook. Once it starts to do that, you really want to replace it, but just for the sake of talking in this video, I'm just gonna leave it for a second, which might be a bad idea if I get snagged, but whatever. So you see there's the bank line over there, a lot of wood touching the water. That's probably a decent spot to cast. And so you see how I crossed that tree? I pulled it back over the top and it didn't snag up because it's rigged weedless on that 3/0 extra wide gap hook. And so now I'm just sort of letting it sit, pop, pop, just staying over by the structure. waiting to see if anything bites. And since I don't really know what the bottom is here, I'm just gonna retrieve back the whole way. Sort of feel the bottom. One thing you can do if you have a heavy line and you know what to recognize when you're pulling, is just sort of do a slow drag and you sort of feel the bottom. So right now what I'm feeling is just a lot of nothing. So it's either mud or grass on the bottom. Okay, I'm popping over some stuff right now, maybe some sticks, maybe some of this pavement stuff that they have in the water. Yep, I just bumped over the top of a piece of pavement right there. So right here, about 10 feet out in front of us, there's some more pavement. And since I feel structure, I'll do my pop technique, see if anything's on that that's willing to bite. Okay, we got nothing, so we're gonna retrieve. And I want to put a new plastic on because this one has been worn by fish a lot. So here I'll show you real quick a little bit about rigging up this plastic right here. Again, Guggen Squad, green pumpkin purple, cracking craw, 4-inch. It's not the 3-inch. So what I like to do is I take the hook point, I poke it right here in the top, and then on the green side, I'll poke it through right there like that. So you see how it's like that? I'll thread the plastic up to the top of the wide gap hook and then turn it around. So you see the purple is here, so that way when you're retrieving, the purple is facing you, the green is facing away. And you line up the hook with the plastic, and then at your fingertip, straight through, like that, down, and then you push it up to the hook point, push that plastic up, put it right under there so it's weedless. Run my finger straight over it without poking myself, and then when the bass bites it, it'll push that hook point out, and then you set the hook and it hooks him. And also, like I was saying, the appendages, make sure, see how they're together? You want to separate them so they're separate, so you get more action in the water. All right? All right. Yeah, the wind is on our side. We have a 3/8 ounce tungsten, so very compact weight, making casting a lot smoother. We have our brakes on the rod turned down pretty low. The lower your brakes, generally the further you can cast, but also wind factor and weight of the lure factor come into play. And if your brakes are too low and the wrong conditions, that's when you bird nest. So if you're new to bait casters, what you might want to do is keep your brakes relatively high and just get more comfortable with it. But you see how I'm doing the pop, doing a pop all the way back, just in case there's a bass on some structure that is hungry and wants to come check it out. Also, my personal preference, a lot of people do it differently. Some people will keep their finger on the spool like this to feel a bite. Some people will just feel for the rod to tick. I like to put my finger right underneath this line so it's not pushing up on it, it's just touching it. So when the bass bites, you feel a very subtle. And then also it's easier to feel when the line goes weightless, because then the line falls down onto your finger. So like that last fish we caught, I didn't feel a like tick tick. I just felt there was weight and then it was weightless. So that bass just sucked up that bait, just swallowed it. So didn't really get a feel of bite, but we knew we had a fish on because the feel of the line just in an instant out of nowhere just changed. You can change the strength of your pop. I like to do a little subtle and then a couple of stronger ones. So when you do a subtle, it goes doot doot. When you do a stronger one, it goes doot doot. And then if you do a like that, it just sends it flying, but sometimes you'll get a reaction bite out of that. Not super often, but it happens. It's a nicer one. It's right there in the reeds. There we go. Another spot where he should have been. Okay, so you saw that we flipped right up into the reeds and dropped it down, and buddy here was hiding in there. He felt a little tick and set that hook nice and good. Got another nice over 2. It might be right under 3, I'm thinking. It's a little skinny, but he's it's a good fish. It's a good fish. No complaints here about this fish here. You know, like, you don't always have to go out on a boat to have a good fishing day. .7. So yeah, right under 3. It's a good fish. Let's get him back safely. Happy with this guy. So 2.4, 2.7, all from the boat dock right here. There he goes. I thought, you know, a little shade pocket, some grass. It's a good, predictable spot for a bass to be. Alrighty, well, that's gonna conclude today. Fishing the Texas rig, how I fish it, how all that works. We were gonna go out on a boat, but the Pinto Lake staff never called me and told me when the batteries were charged, so didn't get an opportunity. But you know, we got to catch a couple of nice fish. I got to explain how I use the Texas rig and go a little more in depth. Hopefully you guys like that. If you do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos, and we'll see you next time.